Will Bitcoin cease to function if the price continues to crash? I think this is a valid question, since if you saw my other video explaining how Bitcoin works, Bitcoin relies on game theory and on the fact that miners make enough money to make this network function. Right now, a miner, once he mines a new block, he gets 6.25 Bitcoin that are newly created. If those 6.25 Bitcoins are worth, let's say, $20,000 per Bitcoin, it means that he's making $125,000 for this block. But if Bitcoin is worth 3 times more, he will make 3 times more money in dollar. And as the miners have to buy electricity, they need to use fiat currency, and therefore they need to be sure that they make enough money with the Bitcoin they mine to be able to make investment worthwhile, and therefore to buy the electricity and the machines also to mine the Bitcoin. Well, let's look at some graph to understand what is the situation of the miners right now. So actually, if you look at the number of the hash rate, the number of hash that are produced by miners over the last months, it has been fluctuating a lot, meaning that some miners are starting to mine, some stop. There is a big volatility in hash rate. But this tendency, if you look at the trend, it's still quite flat over a month. But if you look at the Bitcoin price, on the other hand, the Bitcoin price has been going down since a month, which means that each hash that is produced will produce less value in dollar. So basically the situation is quite concerning, because if the people that are making the network work don't make enough money, they will stop operating. But on the other hand, you can also see these figures otherwise and think that despite the fact that the price is going down, the miners are still producing blocks and are still producing hash in order to make the network function. So you could see those figures as a concern, but you can also see the glass half full of water, because actually this means that the miners are still producing those hash despite the fact that the price is going down. They have the possibility at any time to stop their machine and stop using electricity to help the network, and they are still doing so. Another reason, a little bit more technical, why there is not too much to be concerned about the fact that the Bitcoin network might stop is the idea that actually the difficulty will change to adapt if the number of hash that are produced goes down. Every 2 weeks on average, so every 2016 blocks produced, the difficulty is adjusted so that we are sure that on average we will produce a block every 10 minutes. So if you don't quite understand what I mean by difficulty, you can check my video where I explain in detail how does mining work actually. So basically, to the question, will Bitcoin cease to function if the price continues to crash? So right now we can be pretty confident for 2 reasons. We see that miners are still creating hash despite the fact that the price went down. And the other reason is that we know that the difficulty will adapt. If there are less miners that produce hash, the difficulty will be lower, and therefore the network should still be able to produce hash so that we have a new block every 10 minutes on average. Okay, maybe those indicators, the hash and looking at Bitcoin price and trying to understand the economics is a little bit complex, but there is actually a very simple and easy way to check whether or not Bitcoin network is still functioning very well. And this way is to simply look at how many blocks are actually produced right now. And we are going to do this by simply looking at a blockchain explorer. So for instance, here I'm on Blockstream Blockchain Explorer, and I can see the blocks that are produced for Bitcoin live. So here what I see, the latest block is this one. It has been produced at 12:56. The previous block was produced at 12:49. So this shows that it's been only like 7 minutes to produce a block. The previous one, 45, so only 4 minutes to produce a block. This one, wow, even less than a minute to produce a block. Here, this time it took more time. It took 12 minutes to produce block. So this is a quick check. Of course, you can look at more of those blocks, but it shows that we are producing block at quite a fast pace right now. So if you understood well, if we are producing block too fast, actually, this means that the difficulty is too low compared to the mining power that we currently have on the network. So potentially, in the next readjustment of the difficulty, it could go up, which shows that the network is still healthy. Nevertheless, despite the fact that the network is still functioning well, the point that I mentioned about the fact that miners are making less money is still important to have in mind, and is still actually a threat. So we should be quite vigilant and still continue to look at the network to be sure that the network is still strong. So I hope you enjoyed that video and that it helped you understand what could be the potential threat on Bitcoin when the price crashes. And if you like it, again, please subscribe, share it with friends in your communities, and do not hesitate also to ask questions in comments.